Howdy. So, episode 2 of record the very first thing that comes to your mind as soon as you think of it, because you may not have time to do it later. Um, Literally, so I got an idea for this video, which is just really a quick idea that I was thinking of. Never mind. I was going to say I should have brought my Bible, but it's here already. So, there's a pretty, one of the more infamous verses about the tree of the knowledge of good and evil. And yeah, when I say everything is is half off, it's a liquidation sale. I mean it. I literally am just thinking about things and getting like just golf ball sized grapes here. Okay, so there's a verse about when Adam and Eve are in the garden and Eve takes the fruit. And the verse goes something like this. It doesn't go something like this, it is the verse. Okay, so this is chapter 3 of Genesis, verse 6. When the woman saw that the fruit of the tree was good for food and pleasing to the eye and also desirable for gaining wisdom, she took some and ate it. And there's a lot of breakdown of this verse that happens in churches. Pretty prominent verse. But I got the picture of it, or I got the equivalent of it suddenly. I heard it just now again, and I was like, how she saw that. I know what happened. That it's that sensation that you get anytime you are given some information or given a different way to look at things. So let's say that you're a woman and you hear a feminist perspective, and you have a husband and you have children, and your husband is someone that is your protector and is someone that you should serve and is somebody that you should submit to, and your children are kind of a similar thing, but whatever, the proper paradigm, the traditional paradigm, let's say. And someone comes along and says and gives you a feminist perspective where suddenly your husband is your your warden, he's your abuser, he's holding you back, he's sucking all of your good years away from you and using you up, and you are enabling him, and you when you take that information in and then you look at him again after that and you see everything in your life through this new lens. That is what happened to her. She saw this tree that she ignored every single day, and suddenly someone's telling her that tree is the key to your transcendence, and it's just been sitting in the middle of the garden this entire time. And at this point there's no there's no such thing as passwords and police and door locks. Okay, so she's probably astounded that that tree is just sitting there and they have just walked right by it. And this something that should be behind glass, something that we as humans living in this fallen world would know, like, okay, this is the thing with the velvet rope around it. This is the thing that is designed to keep people out. It's like if suddenly the museum, somebody came up to you and was like, hey, everything in that museum, they don't want you to take it because they know how valuable it is. And suddenly now you're looking, instead of seeing this museum as a place to go where everyone can look at art and enjoy it, you see it as like, oh, they just think you're an idiot. They just think you're an idiot. You're just going to walk past the most valuable stuff in the world and not even touch it because they told you some cockamamie story about, you know, preservation and whatever. It's like, go grab it. It's like the perversion of information. But we've all had that happen to us where I've had it happen to me, but I typically like reject it. Like, you know, it happens in movies all the time. And you kind of have to reject it. And you're kind of angry because you know that not everybody is going to be able to reject it like that. Because I've heard this story already. So I already know what comes of this type of enlightenment. But yeah, it's like, and people really, when people get taken in by this bait, I mean, you cannot convince them that they didn't have a transcendent experience simply because they were told a lie. It's like, this changed, you don't understand, this changed my life. It made me completely reevaluate. It's like, yeah, that's fundamentally what a lie does. A prank will do the same thing. You call somebody and tell them their mother is dead, it's going to do all types of stuff to their world. But it's literally just words that aren't true. And someone had to have evil within them to harness the power of worlds to just completely turn your world upside down, if only for a couple of seconds. And then they laugh about it. That's why I don't like pranks fundamentally. I mean, sometimes they can be funny or whatever, but here's me. I don't think we're going to be in heaven doing pranks. I don't think they're ever going to come back once we're out of here. You know, it's again this mixture of good and bad that we're so used to. But I don't think there's going to be any mingling. If it ain't good, it ain't good. It's not going to be no, you know, I don't know that many R&B records are going to be remembered after this world. But a lot of our hymns are probably up there already because they come from God. They're inspired by God and they're good stuff. You know, the stuff that's good is going to remain. So, and the stuff that isn't, is we're never going to see it again. But yeah, I literally was just like, as soon as she said that verse, I heard that verse again, and it was like I was just taken to a moment where you hear a lie placed on top of the way you already thought something was. That's what Eve experienced for the first time ever. Can you imagine? It blows everyone's minds here the first time they hear it when they're like teenagers or however old you are, when someone tries to like expand your mind. Imagine just like being like no cares in the world, no nothing. You don't even, you're naked, you have no idea. And somebody's like, you know, if you go and pluck that fruit, like this is what's going to happen. I just can't imagine that hitting a pure-minded human. Like, forget baby. Like, this is not knowing sin and then being, you know, there. It was going to happen in one day. It was inevitable. So, but literally on the way to me walking towards the phone to come and record this, I was thinking about like the rapture and the rapture day. And I was just thinking about, well, is it going to be in the morning? Is it going to be in the afternoon? Like so many dreams, or some people say it's nighttime. Some people say it's whatever. And some people say it was just a day. It was an average day, normal day. And I'm like, well, you know, thinking again about time zones and this and that. And I'm like, well, so maybe it's going to be like, you know, this day, you know, in, you know, Israel, or, you know, something that is, you know, that seems like the most ideal, that everything would revolve around Israel. It's like, where do you choose to, you know, whatever. And it was like, the Lord was like, is there a time of day that where it is the same day everywhere? Like, where is there a time of day where it is the same day from Australia to California, is it the same day everywhere at a certain point of the day? And I was like I just was like, I'm kind of scared to go find out. I'm assuming that there is because it had a rhetorical energy. It was giving rhetorical. So I was just like, oh my gosh. Like, I cannot believe this is real, dude. It's real, it's surreal. Like, knowing, not knowing, like, the way that people just kind of dismissively say no one knows the day or the hour in the debate, like, it's like you're not even thinking about what's going on here. It's like if somebody was like, "Oh, the aliens sent a signal. Aliens sent a signal. They're going to invade our planet, on this day." And people were like, "They're not going to tell you what day they're going to invade. They're just going to come and do it." It's like, so we're all okay with that? Like you're just treating this is just a joke to you, is what you're saying. Like, you think this is just that, like, that just dawned on me too. It's like, oh, okay, this is all hypothetical nonsense. You're just humoring the weirdos. So they don't think it's real to begin with. But then they say, well, even if it was, he wouldn't tell you about it. Like, so they're not even letting it in. And it's unfortunate because it's like, what's more likely? What's more likely? That God is real and is trying to get through to you, like he's done so many times in the past. And there's literally a giant book of past instances that very thing has happened, and it's about to happen again. Or you're a thick-headed person, like, yeah, it's like, is it more likely that you're just a thick-headed person or that God doesn't exist at all? It's like so much more likely that you're just a thick-headed person that doesn't get it and it is real. It's so much more likely. Like, it's a 1 in 5 chance. The chance that God isn't real is like 1 in 10 skillion zillion. Um, I, yeah, these last ones I just keep zoning out because I'm just like, I don't know what to say. I don't know what to say. Like, this is like so insane. Like, it's so insane being in this moment. In this moment. Yeah, the before picture. What do you do? It's not like you can go running in the street. Like, there's nothing you can do. There's nothing I can do. There's nothing we can do besides what we're doing. Like, we can't make people do this right here. Like, I was just laughing about, I was hearing some comedian tell a story about how he loves to see, like, people get thrown out of clubs and, people who were being unruly or whatever. And they started just telling all the stories of unruly people that got thrown out or whatever. But I was just thinking about that, like, just the idea of people get to this place where they're being told like they have to leave, and they're like, I'm not going anywhere. It's like this. I'm going to battle the will now, and I mean, they'll literally be facing like some huge. It'll be like some drunk girl and like this huge bodyguard, and she's just like, no, she's just refusing to leave. Like the battle of the wills. It's true you can't make her leave, but it's also true that you can make her leave. There's other forces besides her will that can overrule that. But, this is something that this can't be resolved in the physical. And when it comes to spiritual things, like there's nothing that can be done. Talk, you can do videos, you can scare people, you can freak them out, you can cry, you can sing songs. It's just amazing. You can offer services. You can try to bribe people, but that doesn't really work either. It's temporary. It's just incredible. It's just incredible. This is not, there's nothing physically you can do to help people in mass about something that is going to happen, that hasn't happened yet. That is, you can prepare for a hurricane or something that in the forecast. You can brace yourself. And that's all we can do too. But to sort of just to get the very information across to people when there's no outward evidence of it. I don't know. I kind of know how the vaccinated feel, the COVID people felt. I still wouldn't take the measures they took. That's clearly just out of pocket and weird. There's nothing you can do. So coercion is not an option. Even coercion doesn't work. I think it is probably the least effective. So, well, anyway, I must stop rambling because I thought maybe there was something else that I could fit on here, so I don't have to keep coming back. But we'll see what happens.